What's up, y'all? Welcome back to another video. It's King here, and we're going to be talking about why Miles Morales was butchered by Insomniac in these Marvel Spider-Man video games. But before we get into that, make sure you hit that like button. That's what it's there for. Make sure you subscribe, follow my socials below in the description. And we're going to get right into this video. And you're going to be wondering, why did I say that Miles Morales was butchered in this video game? Well, it's quite simple. Go watch the other videos. That's why I explain why he's butchered. Actually, in this video game, what we're going to be doing is that I'm going to explain to you why Miles Morales should not be in this game. And if he is going to be in this game, he needs to have a completely different personality other than Spider-Man, aka Peter Parker, because Miles is not Spider-Man. If you disagree with me, hit me up in the chat below. How about that? So, Miles doesn't belong in this game. And the reason why I say that is because usually when a property has multiple Spider-Man in it, you do not put two Spider-Man in a Spider-Man property. Okay, when you make a Spider-Man property, especially when it's a new company, kind of like a new studio is making a Spider-Man game. Usually when you're making a new Spider-Man game and you're a new studio, you're going to go with the original source. And you're going to go with the original source because it's not only is it easier to go with the original source, but it's also what everybody wants to see, because everybody sees Spider-Man as Peter Parker. That is a product. When you make a product, you expect your product to always stay the same no matter what. So as much as people want to say that Miles Morales is Spider-Man, yeah, he may be Spider-Man in the comics, he may be canon, we can't fix that, but in terms of actual reality, Spider-Man is a product, and when they release a product, you expect your product to be the same. So if anything is Spider-Man and it's not specified as Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse or something like that, then people rightfully need to be angry. It's just the way it is. And honestly, I believe Miles shouldn't really be in this game because Insomniac doesn't have the capability. And I'm not saying they don't have the capability in the future to tell a story, but now they introduced Cindy Moon in this game, who is not even a Spider-Man. She's a Spider-Woman. So I'd like to see them fix that for Spider-Man 3, but they're not going to do that. You know why? Because Spider-Man is a big property, and they know people are going to check in whether they want to or not. They're going to check in because it's Spider-Man on it. But then when they enter the game, they're going to be like, this ain't Spider-Man, this is Spider-Verse. Yeah. Maybe they should have changed it to Spider-Web or something like that, like they had for that live service multiplayer Spider-Man game that were going to come out. Which, you know, the concept sounds cool, but after seeing Suicide Squad, yeah, I can see why PlayStation kind of held back on that one. But yeah, there's really two reasons, and that's because Miles is not Spider-Man, and because Spider-Man is a product, and you expect your product to always stay the same. So he really shouldn't even be in this game. The third one is because the Insomniac doesn't have the ability to tell multiple stories. Okay, they definitely wasn't doing a good job with Miles. And what the hell are they gonna do with Cindy Moon? Nothing. They're not gonna do anything with Cindy Moon. They're just gonna make her another badass chick, like they're doing now in these video games. But we didn't come here to talk about DEI and all that. We came here to talk about storytelling. So what I'm going to do is that I'm going to give you my description of what I think Miles should have been in this game. Everybody else is entitled to their own opinions. At the end of the day, Miles Morales is a spin-off character, and you don't need really any type of source material for Miles Morales. Just make him black and just make him have a black and red suit, and you're good. You're golden. There's different iterations. So, like I said, you know, he's a spin-off. So if you want to make him into a dick, you can. Me personally, I would have made Miles Morales into like a punk kid. And I say that because I was looking at some of that across the Spider-Verse, and I was looking at some of the concept, and I was just like, Miles in this movie, he seems like more the nonchalant, like punk type kid. He's pretty tamed, but imagine if Miles from this video game had that Miles Morales mindset from the movie, and also had Spartan punk personality from the movie. You were talking about a badass Spider-Man right there. That would have been pretty good. I think that would have been pretty good. You have this punk kid who doesn't have any friends. Okay, a punk kid who doesn't have any friends. Completely different reason from why Peter doesn't have friends. It's not because he's socially awkward. It's because he's not really interested in, other people's business and other things like that. You know what I mean? Like punk kids would be. But this would have been a great opportunity to have him kind of like one of those punk kids who gets into trouble. They're not evil or anything. They believe in, they believe in good, and they want to do good. They just have some bad habits and have some bad tendencies, But it would be nice to see him kind of have a relationship with his uncle in the first game. And then when you meet Jefferson, that's where you hear it from. Instead of him being like, oh, he's into electronics just like Peter, it should have been more like, oh man, he's smart. He's a very smart kid, highly intelligent, but he's on the wrong side. And you'll be like, what do you mean he's on the wrong side? Well, he likes to get into a lot of trouble. He's just like his uncle. And that could, like if you play Miles Morales, that could bring up that dynamic between Jefferson Davis and his uncle. And you can be like, well, I can see why his dad, you know what I mean? You can connect a little bit more with it. So this could play into pretty much the punk type of shit where him and his dad get into it because, like I said, he's a punk kid, always hanging around his uncle. Fathers keep telling him not to, blah, 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 blah. He gets grounded or whatnot. And he has to attend this event, right? So he attends the event with his father. He doesn't want to, of course, but he attends it anyway because it's his father, of course. And he has no choice, like any other kid. But we can continue everything the same way. The only difference is he acts like a punk now. But he can still be very into Spider-Man. But he can be into Spider-Man for different reasons. And I think the reason should be pretty much is that he doesn't let the law tie him down. And he, just like his father, it's like he wants to do good and help people. But his way of helping people and doing good is, I shouldn't be bound by the law to do it. Or to do it this way. I should be able to do it my own way. And he connects with Spider-Man with that. In that sort of way. And when he, gets pretty much mugged by these group of people, he's fighting back and whatnot. But, he can't take them all on. So Spider-Man comes in, swoop, save him. He's like, man, Spider-Man. You know what I mean? He's like, man, that's, I like you, Spider-Man. You above the law. You don't take the law. You just need to take that one step to kill your enemies or some kind of token like that. And then Spider-Man tells him, pretty much like, I'm not pretty much all into the law. I do be breaking it, but I try to stay pretty much on the right side of law. Pretty much, I try to maintain most of the law values. And he's like, you know what? You got all the power to do all that. Why not just go and take the extra step or do whatever you want? And that could go into the pretty much like the great power comes great responsibility. And that would have been a nice scene right there. And that would have pretty much kind of been like some character growth for Miles because, this is his idol he looks up to. and his father worked with him too, and that would have been nice to kind of see. So later on, blah blah blah. Everything else can pretty much play the same. I don't really have a problem with everything else. Then we get into the second game, and what would have been nice is him being, since he's a punk, he's anxious and he's quick temper. When he gets very stressed, he becomes quick temper. So in his first one, he's pretty much like, he got all the confidence in the world. I got this. Being a rookie. And we're talking about actual rookie, okay? We're talking like 4 months in. Not no whole year like they did in fucking Miles Morales. That's fucking stupid. That he ain't even a rookie no more. So you got this 4 month rookie over here thinking that he knows what he's doing. He ends up fucking everything up. I'm talking about fucking everything up. And so, blah, 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 help him out, blah, 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 blah. And then he pretty much I wouldn't say kind of like a stern talking to, just pretty much like pretty much however you think Peter would say it. But that would have been, I think that would have been better. They move into the new place, that could be the same. All the other shit can pretty much kind of stay the same. Now, the friend, like the punk girl, that would have been nice. Then she don't have to be entirely like him in terms of punk, but she gotta be interested in some kind of stuff like that. She don't have to be. She could be just like she was actually in Miles Morales. I think that was pretty nice. She had pretty, punky to me, but that can set up for that dynamic with the uncle. This would be a great time to set up that dynamic with the uncle, because there's all that punk behavior that his dad was talking about that he saw in Uncle, and he's afraid his son is gonna go down. He'll see it pretty much when he sees his uncle as the Black Panther and all the stuff he's doing. He gonna be pretty much like, man, my father was telling me this, telling me that. He was trying to keep me from being on this path, and this is what the path it leads to, is you betraying your family. And all that could have been nice. That could have been done, executed perfectly. We could have gotten great character development. We could have gotten all kinds of stuff if we would have went down pretty much kind of like the punk kid route. We could have gotten a bunch of stuff, but they can't come up with anything. You know why? Because these people aren't writers. All they can do is just copy, paste that shit, and say that it's new. I could have came up with I'm gonna do a Marvel Spider-Man 2 story fixer. I may do kind of like a Marvel Spider-Man Miles Morales 2 Marvel Spider-Man 2 story fixer, because there's a lot of concepts they could have went with that would have been a lot better than this, but they decided to go down this route. Marvel Spider-Man 2, he can continue trying to get into college. Genki can still be there helping him out. He has that one geek friend or something. You know what? Genki could just be non-existent. Just bring back Finn, have them blah 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 blah, and she could be the tech genius. That would have been nice. You see what I mean? They need to hire me. I can come up with some good stuff here. The same concept could have still played out the same. Maybe have Miles, like I said, just have Miles not overshadow Peter like he did in the Miles Morales game. I didn't bring up any of those points in Miles Morales because I'm not really trying to bring up those. I'm just trying to bring up really the character. But that's a part of the character too. Don't have Miles Morales out overshadowing Peter. And you can't do that because this is a mentor-student relationship. And this is Spider-Man we're talking about. Spider-Man should be practically untouchable. Now, I can see if a rookie Miles is doing it because, you can kind of change it up a little bit. Like I said, this dude's a spinoff. He's not canon. I mean, not canon, but he's not the Spider-Man. So, You can do whatever you want with him and his powers or whatever. That would have been fine. But the way they got him, they just got him too OP. They were forcing the fact that this dude is better than the OG Spider-Man when he's not. Have Peter get hit way less. Miles needs to be the one taking the beatings. Now in the second game, it can kind of be pretty even like it was before. Maybe Miles takes more beatings than Peter because, of course, inexperience. But yeah, they could have went down all the punk route. That would have been way better. But it's like, I see that they're trying to do kind of what they did in the movie, but at this point it's kind of too late, and it kind of doesn't make sense, and it kind of contradicts, and it's like they don't know what they want to do with Miles, but yet they're pushing him anyway. And like I said, I know who these people. I know who is pushing it, and I know what it is, but I'm not gonna be talking about it. It's just gonna be story today. I guess we can talk about a little bit of the story in Marvel Spider-Man 2, like when Miles is there's really nothing to really speak about in Marvel Spider-Man 2. It was really just his whole character should have been different. Because if his whole character would have been different and they would have changed a few scenarios, this could have turned from bad to good. I'm not gonna say it would have been great, but it would have been at least good. This story is bad in terms of for Miles. Now in terms of Peter, the story is pretty damn good. But when you go down the Miles route and you realize that Miles is in this game, this made this game from great to mid. It's just meh. And no one wants a meh story. I also find out that Miles should not be able to bring people back to life with his zip zaps. You should not be able to do that. Bioelectricity is something like electricity, but Harry is dying from an illness. And it would have been way more impactful if you just let him die. But they had to praise Miles. You see, if that was me, I would have never had Miles go over there and do that. He would have been drained of all his power, and he would have been weak. He probably would have been knocked out. Something would have happened. Or he would have just never been in the game to begin with. How are we going to tell a story and we got somebody right here who can just bring people back to life? But I should do a video about why Peter was nerfed. But I don't think I'm going to do that anytime soon. The next video is probably going to be about Marvel Spider-Man 2's story and why it sucks. I won't even necessarily say it sucks. It's just why the story is not as good as you think. Yeah, that'll be the story. Yeah, I'll fix that in the edit. Well, I hope you kind of like my description. There's not really anything much to change of Miles. All they had to do was just change the personality, change a couple of scenes, change a couple of stuff, and they would have delivered us a good story. But they can't really do that. In fact, we'll talk about another reason why his character is lackluster. And I'm sorry to tell you, but Finn, I didn't want to really say it because I was just like, no, I don't want to touch that subject. But we already knew that in the first game we was going to be fighting Harry. And so when you have someone fighting Harry, and this doesn't take away from Peter, by the way, because we expect this. But since Miles is a new character, this is why I say you should not hold your spin-off characters to a certain source material, because at the end of the day, they're a spin-off. So it's kind of like they couldn't come up with another thing. So what they did was just that they went undercover and they decided that they were gonna grab some concepts from a story they were gonna tell in the next game, and they just implemented it in that game and kind of hide. So when you do that, I'm just gonna be honest with you. When you do that, it's not gonna hurt Peter because people already knew this was gonna happen, and people already expected it, and they did a better job executing the Peter and Harry's relationship and their backstory. They've been doing this since the first game. What has Miles Morales done? Miles Morales didn't do anything. They just had this woman come out of nowhere, say they're best friends, have a little sob story, and then at the end of the game, they make up and they kill. She gets killed. It's like that was unnecessary. That was really unnecessary. But it takes away from Miles because you're already going through the best friend versus best friend story route. And when you do that and you connect your character with another character's story arc, it's gonna leave a bad sour taste in people's mouths, and they're gonna say, "Look, we already seen this before. We saw this in Miles Morales." But people are not gonna get mad at they're not gonna get mad at the Peter-Harry relationship because they already expected this. They already knew it was gonna happen, and this is what they want, and this is what they expect. For Miles Morales, you don't expect anything. So when you see that, all you think is, "Well, this is a copy. This is what it is," and that's exactly what it is. But they even have another thing in, we'll say in Marvel Spider-Man 2, where Peter and Miles is literally going through this kind of like I'm not gonna say the same arc, but they're going through the same scenarios. Like, oh, Miles is on his quest for revenge, and then while you're over here playing Peter, who is in a black suit, who is constantly thinking about revenge, and then they have Miles overshadow Peter. If Miles is able to overcome his own, if he has the willpower to overcome himself, why doesn't Peter have the power to overcome himself? Peter was nerfed to hell and back in this game. He was nerfed to hell and back. And I'm sorry, it ruined him. It ruined his character. Miles' character. But those are the other two I wanted to add it. If you liked the video, make sure you subscribe. Make sure you hit the like button. That's what it's there for. Make sure, again, that you hit me up in my socials. I'm going to bed. Goodbye.
That's a nice ride. What is it, who am I kidding? I don't know cars.